Too many thoughts on my mind, I can't sleep at night, so I just keep writing. I don't need no help, I don't need opinions, so don't waste my time then. I just been living online.
Welcome back to the official top 10 hip-hop albums of 2018 featuring Mr. D. And for the last time, let's take a look at the list so far. This is it, folks. We made it. I did it. 10 albums, top 10, all rap, all from 2018. Let's talk about number one. I'm so excited to talk about this. For me, this album was quite a shocker. It was part of a summer that was pretty crazy. I wasn't working. I was racking up a credit card bill like nobody's business. But for 5 weeks, there was hope. It was a summer where one ridiculously controversial artist released back-to-back projects 5 weeks in a row. This was album number 3 of the Wyoming Sessions, featuring the ever controversial Kanye West and one of my longtime favorites, Kid Cudi. Mr. D's number 1 album of 2018 is Kids See Ghosts, from Kids See Ghosts, who are really Kanye West and Kid Cudi. Let's talk about it. So after a pretty impressive debut from Pusha T in Daytona, the hopes were really high for these Wyoming Session projects. Kanye West's Ye was pretty solid, but nothing too crazy. But as soon as you knew that Kids See Ghosts was a collab between Kanye and Kid Cudi, my God, the hopes were set to insanely high. For a long time, there had been rumors swirling about a project between Kid Cudi and Kanye West, and that wait just made this project, when it came out, all the sweeter. From the opening track, this album was a goddamn win. This was part of that 7-track push that Kanye West was on with these Wyoming Sessions. Could Kid Cudi and Kanye West collab with just 7 tracks to work with? It's such a small window. Could they be successful? Boy, howdy, they did. Could and succeeded. It's powerful, emotional, nostalgic but filled with regret, psychedelic, passionate, just an insane project from 2 rappers who have been doing it for a long time. And with only 7 tracks, it's easy to highlight the whole list. Here we go. So after I put Kids See Ghosts in my top 10 finalist list, I had to give this album another listen. And I had this song on repeat over and over because it's so good. Cudi hits with this very echoey, moaning, I can still feel the love. Then you get Pusha T's raspy voice hitting over this insanely crisp beat. And then it happens. Kanye just starts making these wild drum impressions, and holy shit, it works so well. It works so well. It just pumps you up real good. And then he's done with the beats, and then he just yells sound effects, and then classic Kanye, he just shouts out, "Where the chorus?" And lo and behold, the chorus just happens, just like that. What an opener. Next. Literally, we have Kanye rapping over Kid Cudi's voice. There's this kind of faint percussion in the background, but it's mostly Kid Cudi, and Kanye is doing a terrific job rapping over it. And then we get this really emotional verse from Kid Cudi about coming back to music and how the support from his family was really important. And there's this really smooth transition into the following track. Next. We get a really kind of interesting sample from Louis Prima, which is a song from 1936 called What Will Santa Claus Say, which kind of pops up over the track repeatedly. This one has my favorite Kanye verse on the project, and we get this super eerie, like modified children's laughter that appears just before Kid Cudi's verse, and it's like scary and weird, but it works so well. Amazing track. Next. This is definitely a song on the album with the most fully rounded production and vocals. Kanye creates this very like atmospheric, almost chamber-like feeling, bouncing and echoing voices, and that infectious feel free over and over and over. It's so good. So good. Next. I always feel like Kid Cudi's hook would get a little repetitive. His voice is in fantastic form. He goes from a hook to a really sweet moaning interlude that segues perfectly into Kanye's verse. His verse talks about his battle with mental illness, requiring medication, and facing anxiety in social situations. And it's really fitting for a track like this to appear on a project with two rappers who have been very vocal with their ongoing fights with mental illness. Cudi comes back on to talk about his own experiences, and we close on that repeating course of moving forward and feeling reborn. Amazing message, great song. Next. This one definitely has like the strangest atmosphere of any song on the album. Of course, the song Kids See Ghosts from the album Kids See Ghosts from the artist Kids See Ghost would be pretty weird. But it's a good weird in every way. Justin Vernon, who is the lead singer for a group called Bon Iver, helps with the production on this one and the opening track. Justin Vernon has definitely made a name for himself in the indie genre. He has certainly made an impression in hip-hop. He worked with Kanye on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and Yeezus. Plus, he's done songs with Vince Staples and Eminem, and he helped produce a song on one of Travis Scott's first mixtapes called Owl Pharaoh. If you love mesmerizing production and very deep philosophical statements about society, check out this song. Next. So this last song opens with a guitar riff from Kurt Cobain. Makes you wonder how Kanye West just had that sample sitting in his pocket, but I'm definitely not complaining. This sample came from a posthumous release from Kurt Cobain called Montage of Heck, which is where we get the title from. There's this really fantastic build-up to Kid Cudi's opening verse. Kid Cudi's asking for help from God, and then this percussion just hits right over top of the beat, and it transitions into this powerful and magnetic hook about prayer and just begging for support in dark times. All of this is fitting because when we slide over to Kanye's verse, he talks about the cycle of violence for African Americans in the United States, the overtly racist incarceration statistics, and the victims of gang violence. But it closes with optimism. Putting your faith in God, remembering to stay strong. Those are things that Kanye kind of points to by the end of this track. Definitely a solid ending to a gorgeous song. Let's get to them final thoughts. I feel like the true winner from this project was Kid Cudi. Him and Kanye work together perfectly. Nobody outshines anyone, and I think the very unique and strange and eerie production that Kanye West brings to this album pairs perfectly with Kid Cudi. And after a few very painfully mediocre releases in the past, it is amazing to see a guy like Kid Cudi make his way back into the critically acclaimed column. Just like how Lil Wayne made his way into my top 5, it is super appropriate that Kid Cudi and Kanye West are in my #1 spot because these are guys I've been listening to since the very beginning of my obsession with hip-hop. But it's true that Kid Cudi's career has gone through some very hot and very cold moments. And for an artist who's openly dealing with mental health issues, release an insanely good project that highlights the dark times but also has a focus on rebirth and recovery, I love it. I cannot deny that when it comes to my favorite album of 2018, Kids See Ghosts was a welcome surprise. Beautifully crafted, all killer, no filler, with two artists that I've been listening to for over 10 years. There is no other album in my top 10 or any album that I've listened to in 2018 that could reach this one. This is a true step above the rest. Its success is extremely well deserved. That's it. Mr. D's favorite album of 2018, Kids See Ghosts. Boom. Done. That's it. 10 albums, 6 videos. Oh my god. Oh, I know we're already halfway through January, but a New Year's resolution for Mr. D. I hope to improve my videos, branch out to new topics and new listeners, continue to do what I love, talk about rap music, and hopefully a year from now, I will be releasing my top 10 albums of 2019. I want to thank everybody for the support that they've given me so far in this first venture into a YouTube channel. I love doing this. I'm glad people like watching. And hey, here's to some fire music in 2019. See you next time, Internet.